Welcome to the Obesity Medicine Podcast with your host, Dr.Rentea, board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. Here, we talk about a path to metabolic health, and we have real conversations about chronic weight management and living a full life. Just a reminder, I am a physician, but I'm not your physician. So everything that's on this podcast is for informational purposes, but please go talk to your doctor about what's right for you. There is no medical advice being given on this podcast. All right, this is a little bit of a different thing than we normally have on the podcast. So I did a live Q&A call tonight. It was about the 30/30 program that's coming up here in April. And I answered questions about different aspects of the program, what the community looks like, what type of support people can get. There were questions about would I review in-bodies that they have, if they want that done privately. What do we talk about on the calls? Is there coaching? There was just a ton of questions. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that up here on the podcast in case. I know some of you said that you couldn't attend the call live, and this is just the easiest way to get it out to you. But if you have other questions about the April 30/30 round, feel free to email me, Rentea Clinic, RENTEA, and then the word clinic @gmail.com. We're always happy to answer. If my assistant can answer it, she will. If it's something that I need to answer, she'll make sure to get that to me. And I'm always happy to answer questions about the program. We do limit spots. So whenever we're full, we turn on the wait list so that if you want to do a future round, you could do that. I was saying on the call, we run this right now in January, April, and September, but it's always subject to change. So I don't, it's not like a guarantee that we're going to run the September round. So if this is something that you're thinking about, I think this is a good time to join. Also, we have, if you look on the website, if you join before March 14th, we send you the planner workbook. And if you join after that day, you'll have it digitally right away when you sign up, but we won't have time to be able to mail it to you. So that's really an early bonus for joining. So if you were thinking of joining, I would do that before March 14th. And then the other thing that is included in this, we're going to have coming out here soon, season 1 of the premium podcast. So it's the Obesity Guide Behind the Curtain. It's 16 episodes, lots of really good clinical scenarios that I go over. I talk about supplements. I talk about maintenance. I just talk about so many different things in there. That's actually included as a bonus when you join this program. Now that is not released yet. So that will be in the next week or two when we release it. But when it is, you get that as a bonus with being in this program. So that's not something separately that you need to get. So if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy. It's a little bit sort of fragmented this episode because I was just answering questions from the chat box and kind of jumping around, but you can always message me if you have more questions, and I'll make sure to put in the quote unquote show notes here the link if you wanted to join the 30/30 program. All right. Hope you have a great rest of the week. All right. Hello. I know we're 2 minutes early, but I'm just starting this just to make sure that everything's working okay. So the point of us doing this call tonight is that I wanted to be able to answer some questions because some of you said, look, I see some things written out, but I have other questions that I want answered. And so some of you have asked me before. So if there's anything where you're like, hey, I don't understand XYZ aspects or this or that, or frankly, you're like me and you actually don't read a sales page, I will go over all of that tonight. The other thing too that I'll say is that I always kind of evolve the program a little bit each round. So for example, we did the first round of the 30/30 program September of last year. And at that point, I realized 4 weeks was not enough. We expanded it to a 6 to 7 week program, literally in that round. Then this past round that we did in January, I redid the second half of the content. So the way that this program works is that it's technically sold as a 6-week program, but it actually ends up being 8 weeks by the time there's a welcome call the week before, and then we have the program open a little bit after. And even quote unquote, when we close the group at the end of that program, you still have months to watch the replays. When you're in the program, there is weekly content, so a few videos. So there's like a theme for each week, if you would. And it's really sort of like a take what works and drop the rest approach. So I'll suggest things that I think you could do and information that I think could move you forward in your health, no matter what part of the journey you're on. But at the end of the day, you don't have to like week 1 do the gut microbiome, right? So, but the information is there. There's weekly videos. And then what we're going to do this round in the April 30/30 round, we're actually going to meet twice per week. These are scheduled routine calls. And then of course we have a few bonus calls. So it sounds like a lot because some weeks we're going to have 3 calls, but I was thinking about what people need based on what I've been seeing from these other rounds. And that's kind of always what I bring in. The Sunday calls are going to be at 11 Eastern. So every Sunday during the program, I'm going to come on. And the way that we do these calls, by the way, both the Sunday and the Thursday night. So Sunday, again, is at 11 a.m. in Eastern time in the morning. And the Thursday night calls are at 6 p.m. Eastern. So we try to do a variety of times so that people can get to them. The Sunday morning calls are really going to be a reset and planning time. So this is actually something new that we're adding to this round. What I find is that people need this time once a week where you sit down and you think about, what's my week going to look like? What types of foods do I want to eat? I'm a really big fan in this program of encouraging you each week to try like one new recipe or expand your veggies in some capacity or to do something, right? And we have to think about, this is literally what we do in the 30/30 program. How are we going to do that? Because it's so hard to do these new things. And so that's what I want to sit down. We have actually redesigned, there's you can call it planner, workbook, whatever you want to call it. But this is actually, because we changed it entirely, I had my assistant send it to me. So this is the book that the reason you sign up so early, it's because we send this to you. And part of what we're going to be doing every week is going through sort of a brain dump. So seeing, okay, what do I think about these different areas? And then kind of honing in what your goals are, how you want to do it. And I sort of have a planning technique that you can use daily. It's called like the 3-2-1 strategy, where you look at what are 3 things I need to do, what are 2 things I want to do, and what's one I want to let go of. And so really the goal is figure out on Sunday, what is it that you want to achieve that week? And then how can we break it down? How can we stay on top of it? How can we implement it? So that's going to be a time when we're really going to do what I'm going to call body doubling, which is we're literally going to put on some music and work for a few minutes. And then we're going to talk, and hopefully I have some inspiring stuff to go with you. But it's really a time when it's like, I have this hour dedicated to go over all of this. And then the Thursday night calls are really, if you've done previous programs with me, what we've typically done on Monday nights. We just moved the date again to be able to sort of accommodate different people at different times. And that's really a time when we get together, and I do not do, how do you say, like, where it's like coaching, like, someone comes up and they're on like spotlight. My style is more that people are sharing what worked that week, what hasn't worked, if there's something that's popped up for them. Everyone is at a different spot. So some people in the program, they're already at maintenance and they might be working through some body image stuff. Other people might be right in the beginning starting out. Other people they're maybe in the middle of their journey and they're like reaching that point where it's not so easy to lose weight anymore and they're kind of struggling. And so everyone's at a different place, but that's actually really nice because you get to learn from so many different scenarios. Let's see. Can you give us the dates, including the pre-call dates? Never mind, I found on the website. Okay, good. I'm going to bring this up. So the first welcome call is Sunday, April 6th. And then that next week, Sunday, starts week 1. So then it's every Sunday and Thursday, those calls. And I have listed, I'm going to put here, if you want to check out the link that lists all the calls and everything like that, I have this here in the chat. If you go on that page, we list every single call in time. So you'll see some other bonus calls. Amy is a therapist that comes in. She's phenomenal. And she is going to lead. One topic that I really wanted to make sure we went over this round is when you're really tired and exhausted, how can you continue to do the things? How can you keep showing up? Because that's pretty much like 99% of us, is that we're tired and exhausted a lot of the time, but we still want to maintain results or get results or not be mean to ourselves all the time. And so she's going to do that. And then the other topic that she's doing, I forget if I listed this or not, but it's actually really fun. It's a lot more like eat the frog, celebrating wins. Like, it's a very fun topic that she's doing. Let's see. Okay. All right. So every week there's those 2 calls. Again, back to the Thursday nights. That's really a time when we're checking in, there's community. Some people talk, some don't. I will say this, in this program, majority of people have their videos on, they're participating. We're typically, and I say this because it's been previous rounds and it always might change, but we're not a group where it's like, everyone's muted, video off. You don't know who's on the call. Or like, is anyone participating? That's really not how we do it. Of course, if it's dinner time and you need to eat, that's totally fine. But the point is we support each other. And I think that someone was asking me about what's the community like. The difference here is that we don't have like a massive group to where you don't know who's in it and you don't know who's seeing your stuff. And there's sort of, if any of you have done groups before, there can be like this voyeuristic aspect. And I absolutely hate that when there's people that are never participating. They're kind of on the sides, they're lurking, and that's fine. But it's like you feel like, well, I'm sitting here sharing my soul and all the struggles I'm going through and what's happening with me. And then other people, we never know what's happening with them. So that's not what we do in this group. People really participate. People are, again, they're at different stages, but it's really beautiful. I'll say that there's not 100%, but there's a high rate of people that have done a previous round doing a next one. Not 100%, like our group is not all like, oh, everyone done it before, and so you're the new kid. And that's not how it works either. But just that people feel very supported. And I think honestly, one of the biggest reasons you should join the April 30/30 round is if you want that community. The calls, being close to people participating and caring. And then, yeah, we have a WhatsApp group. And so I do that because the reason we didn't use Facebook, because I've used this in previous programs in the past, Facebook has algorithms where only certain stuff gets pushed out or not. And I'm not trying to look for a popularity contest here, right? So what's really nice about the private WhatsApp group is that we're all in there. And so you can just follow it chronologically, right? And I also like that, oh, thank you. Like my nail color. This is I got this color in Vegas and I was like, it's beautiful. So now you're going to probably see me like half a year using it. But the WhatsApp group is really nice because you can get in there when you want. You can mute it if you're like, I'm just overwhelmed. I don't want to hear all this stuff. And I really go over a lot of this on the welcome call, but it's really there in as much of a capacity that supports you or not. There are some people, me included, where they're on it every day. Maybe some people are doing audio messages. Some people are doing written things, sharing wins, sharing a struggle. Some people will come on every day and say, hey, this is my goal for today. Here are the things that I want to do. So it's really varied what people share in there, but it's nice because it's you actually get to know people. And so again, it's not this like random stuff showing up in your Facebook feed. So I have found, we've done this for the past 2 rounds, I have found that the WhatsApp group has been very nice. I'll be honest, it's the thing I love the most. That and the live calls. I mean, obviously I love everything, but those things, like I really feel like this is the community that I always wanted, even myself as a participant. Let's see. Okay, so you were asking about calls, chatting between the calls. Yes. Okay, so we have those 2 calls. We have bonus calls. The other thing that's in this program is that there's a lot of aspects to working on your health. And so what's really tricky here is how do you kind of diagnose for yourself what your next step is, right? So again, that's what we'll go through on those Sunday calls. But one of the things in this program is that there's a lot of guidance as far as you can bring up what your scenario is, and I can help you to kind of figure out what I think your next steps are. So that's a lot of, I think, what happens on the calls is that people will bring stuff up and I'm like, I kind of hear that I think your work is in this area, and then you can focus in on that during that time. Let's see here. Okay. The other aspect that we have custom made meditations. And I think that it's really important to sort of have that mind-body connection when you are doing new things. You need to have the confidence that I can do this, that I can follow through on this, stuff like that. So Ellen Cook has made those for our program. And I think that they're really phenomenal. We do have as well a few workout videos from Ali Nowitzki. That's something that you could see if that's the right approach for you or not. But I really encourage whatever form of movement works for you. We're not super rigid on nutrition, although I do encourage increased diversity and I explain about the gut microbiome. And I'm really about your health improving and not just a number on a scale. And that's something that I think people are like so attached to this number on the scale. And I get it. I've gone through this myself, but I really want you in 5-10 years to love food and love your body and you're just in a different place where it's about life and health and not just what this stupid number is doing. And so that's a lot of what you'll see in this program. I move away from glorifying that. And so we use like body composition and stuff like that. Okay, so let me see if there were any other, let me see if I went through stuff here. So we went through the calls, the planner. Again, I think I forgot what date I put on the website that you had to sign up by so we have time to send it to you. If not, then you'll just have it digitally after that time. There just comes a time when we can't get it to you quick enough at that point. Let's see what else here. Okay, so I'm gonna open this up to seeing if there's any questions that you guys have. So let me just see here. I know one of you had texted me. I can find my phone. I'm going to see if I answered all of that, but let me know in the chat if you have questions. What is the community like? The main thing I can say is really supportive. Honestly, we have a really big range of who's in there, and it's really nice because different people have different energy to do different things and you get really inspired by it, so we have had in a previous round someone that was so talented with cooking, and every single thing that I saw, like, we do share a lot of, oh, this is working for me, that's working for me. I got so inspired by her stuff. So I love, and then I also love, I'm the one sharing, okay, here's the veggie tray where we just open it up and there's no work involved, right? So it's like we have a variety of who's in there. You mentioned in the podcast, oh, yes. Thank you for bringing this up. Okay, when you sign up for the April round, I have coming out here in a week, there's the premium season 1, which is going to be an additional podcast compared to what I normally have. So I did a lot more answering questions that people had, delving more into my experience, all these kind of things, supplements, all that kind of stuff. That season you get when you join this program. Again, we just have not physically released it yet, but in the next week, if you've signed up already, you'll see, like, you've been granted this offer. But if you're signing up in the coming days here, again, that is something that you get with this. So if you've joined the April 30/30 round, please don't, when you see us in the next week or two, we'll try to make it so you don't get those emails. But if you get them by accident, you do not need to purchase it because it's actually a bonus that's with this April 30/30 round. So you get the premium, the obesity guide behind the curtain. You get that season as a bonus for joining this program. And that's typically what I do. I usually, when people are in the 30/30 program, they get to come to the monthly Q&A that I do within my clinic and mini course. They get to come to the monthly nutrition calls where my nutritionist comes in. She's phenomenal. So there's a lot in there because I feel like I want you to have a variety of experiences and really get just like a ton of help and be able to ask a ton of expert stuff. I think that's really helpful. Okay, let me see here if... Okay, let's see. I've lost weight, but I'm struggling building good habits and nutrition. So that's where I'm looking to focus on. Will this program help with that? Yes. This is pretty much the thing. And I make this pretty clear day one in the program. No one has a knowledge problem. I mean, you're going to learn stuff. It's going to be fun. You're going to like the videos. You're going to get inspired. I'm super passionate about this. I'm always learning. But at the end of the day, you don't need to be sitting there consuming information all day long. What needs to happen is we need to figure out how to break out of some of these ruts, how to try some new foods, how to figure out ways to move your body differently, how to figure out, why am I having a block to doing these things that ultimately I love when I do them, but there's something else going on here. So that is really what we want to figure out. But yes, we definitely go through a lot of nutrition because I think that is something, and I talk a lot about this in the program, we have to mix things up every so often. Otherwise, there's like this fallacy that I'm going to reach this nutrition, I'm going to like figure out the meals and I'm going to eat the same thing and it's never going to change. That's just not true. I don't know about for you guys, but for me, about every 2-3 months, I'm kind of sick of what I'm eating and I need to kind of switch it up. And so I think part of the magic of this group is that you see what other people are doing. And I'm trying to think of, there was something this past round where you'll see people do stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, I can so do that. That's so easy, right? You just get really inspired because you're in a room with like-minded people. And that's really infectious when people around you are all working on their nutrition and movement and things like that too. But by the way, not in a psycho way. I just need to like put that out there. We're not this like, you have to do it and it's so hard. Just nice, supportive, normalizing that we're going to care about this and we're going to work on it. That is really something that, yes, to the nutrition. By the way, the thing with weight too, and I want to just put this out there, weight is a journey in your lifetime. And it's not this, everyone thinks it's just down, 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 down. And the reality, that's amazing if that's happened for you, if you're listening or on this call. But most people will lose, will regain, will lose, will regain, will not know why things are happening. There's so many factors that play all the time. And so this is why I'm really about moving away from the scale and really focusing on what are the things we do have control over, what can we do, moving into that lane. Because I'm telling you, the scale goes down then when you do those things. But it's like when we focus on the scale, we do not have as much control as we think. And that's usually the part that frustrates people. What can you expect being a member? What kind of support? So really it's those live calls. Now it's not a problem if you can't make the live calls. Some people, it won't work out in their schedule. We make the commitment literally the hour after the call to get the calls up. so that it's not this, because imagine this program moves really quickly. Have any of you guys ever been in those programs where it's like a week later the call goes up and I'm thinking, I can't even follow this. Like, I mean, I might have missed the call for work or something and now I can't catch up. So we put those up right after. Sometimes people won't be able to attend them and they'll just email me or put it in the WhatsApp group like, hey, can you talk about XYZ? So someone this past round had a question about my thoughts on intuitive eating and different stuff like that. Sometimes people, if you're a little bit more shy about wanting to share stuff, you might email me the scenario and then I can talk about it, but you don't kind of have to identify yourself as sharing it. Again, we're super supportive, but the point is if you can't make the calls, you can still totally get help on that front, either messaging or in the WhatsApp group. You can also leave comments under videos. All roads lead to Rome. Everything leads back to me. So that's another thing too. Like it's me that's doing this. It's not like, a million other coaches. I am the one talking to you. So live calls, written if you need it. I'm a really big fan with the WhatsApp group. If I need to do an audio message on there, I mean, I myself am quite often in there just sharing different things, but there's that capacity. And then also other members of the community. I find that when we're going through these programs, we know what's going on in people's lives. We're like, hey, how did going back to work go? We know what's going on if you're willing to share, right? Like that's really the key point here is like, are you willing to, when I say the word vulnerable, are you willing to a little bit share parts of yourself? Then you really get the benefit of being in a nice supportive community. Okay. And then again, then the videos, there's videos every week. This time I'm not, before I every single week would unlock them, I have just gone ahead this round and released all of it because I realized that some of you in the beginning want to go ahead and do all of it. Some of you want to do it week to week. And so I just realized I'm going to let you work at the pace that you want, but weekly I'll sort of have a focus based on what are in the videos. I see other support. Again, the meditations, the workouts, the bonus calls are very focused on what I see people needing. And so we kind of supplement with that. Like last time we did some work on body image. Can I share an in-body report personally and get some help on options? Yes. I have a lot of members do this and they'll share with me, okay, this is what it looked like in the beginning, or here's what it is now. They'll kind of explain a scenario to me. I will tell you what I'm going to do in that scenario. I'm probably going to, if you want this to stay private, you'll probably email me and I will do probably a voice message back to you on WhatsApp, like privately, because I just find that I talk better. So if I'm sitting there typing, I won't be able to say all the little nuances and things I want to tell you. So I will likely do a private audio message back to you. And that's really good. A lot of people, they follow their in-bodies at least once a month, and then they'll update me with that so that we can make some tweaks. So yeah, definitely, that's definitely something that we can help with. And again, there's a lot of stuff in my universe as well. Like within my clinic, I do a teaching with InBody, and there's lots of data that patients have let me use anonymously. And that's a really good workshop. Actually, I've never released that in the 30/30 program, but I think that workshop would be good to bring in because you can watch that and you can learn so much from seeing these different patterns. Part of having familiarity with InBody with me over the years, first of all, it's not taught anywhere. There's no course that you can take on it. I'm just here to tell you, because years ago I sought it out. It didn't exist. I had to find a physician that was using this all day long and really learn from them. And then over years and years, I've learned different pattern recognition and what different people need, because it's not really like everyone does the same thing and gets the same results. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So I'll see if we can get that workshop into this round. I think that'd be really helpful. And yes, to getting me InBody so I can review them. Sometimes people ask about, because we have a one-time payment option, or we have Klarna where you can pick whatever options you want with them. And this actually increased the options that we were able to offer people, because we used to do a one-time payment or 3 monthly payments. And this is something that we just want you to be able to have whatever options work for you. So we made sure to make that available this time, if that's something that you're wondering about. I'll tell you another thing that someone asked me. Sometimes people are out of town for one of the weeks, right? And so they think, well, like, is this a good time or not? That is completely up to you. I mean, you get to decide. I know that in this previous round, we had someone that the first week was on vacation. And I said, look, I just really don't think it's going to be a problem. And it did not negatively impact them in any way. But you obviously don't need to sign up if you feel like, it's not a good time for me to commit to it. Right now, we're offering it in January, April, and September. That's always subject to change. I'm sorry. I always make sure to have really good energy. And I like to bring a lot to these groups. So I'm not running them constantly because I don't have the energy multiple evenings per week all year to do this kind of stuff. But just know that you can, of course, you can always wait for a future round. The problem is that round might not exist. I don't ever know. Maybe we don't do the September round. I don't know. But my point being, it's fine if you can't attend things live. Many people listen to the replay. They still get to participate in the WhatsApp group. You can still ask questions. You don't have to physically be sitting there on the call to get all the benefits out of it. That's just something to think about. If there's, I mean, most of the time people have something going on at some point, right? Whether you're traveling for a few days. Also, another thing, because I saw this in the previous round, it's actually amazing for you to have a vacation or something happen during this 30/30 experience because you want to experience real life. You don't want to do this anymore when you join something where it's like, I'm all in and nothing ever goes wrong. I actually want you to experience some roadblocks. I want you to experience something that isn't going right. I want you to be in a scenario where you feel you don't have control over everything. We actually need to welcome these things happening. They need to occur. Otherwise, we can never figure things out. I was talking to a patient today and they were saying, yeah, every time we meet, I keep thinking like life's going to get easier, right? And it's like, it doesn't, right? So work remains insane. This person's a teacher, but it's like you keep thinking that this amazing time is coming and it's usually not. And that's why it's like, how can we learn every single day to just be like, what do I have in me? Can I give something? I always give the example with steps, right? Like if you tell me, okay, Matea, I want you to get 10K steps per day, it shuts me down. I'm like, I'm too busy. I can't do this. Right? But then if I literally every single day, I just have to be like, let's just start walking back and forth. Let's just get on the walking pad, the treadmill outside. Where is it? Like, is it raining? Is it not? How can we just start to do it? And then I always end up getting into it. But it has to come from a place of like, it's my identity that I'm someone that moves, that I feel better when I do it. I have a million reasons. But if I come from like, it has to be 10K steps, instantly I'm out, right? So we have to start to get to that place where it's like big boulders can get thrown at you and you still get the things done. And you figure out what are easier options. Because when it gets pressure tested and it doesn't happen, it means it was too complex. That's where I learned. I used to not be a person that got groceries delivered. I was always like, oh, I'm always going to be going to the store, and then and then life got busy, and I was like, there's nothing wrong with once or twice a month groceries coming to the door. There's nothing wrong with that. The food shows up. It's easier on me. I don't need to judge that. Oftentimes, Monday morning groceries are showing up. Nothing wrong with that. Sunday night in bed, I'm ordering them, right? We need to find things that are easier. Otherwise, it doesn't work long term. Should I go through app or your website for access? Oh, so really good question. I always recommend the app, and I'll tell you why. So when you have the app, you don't need to keep logging back in, right? It's not a problem on the website either, but the point is it's very easy to just to go sequentially from video to video. You can still leave comments there. The other thing that I love about the app, it's really easy to speed up the videos. I don't know if we have anyone in the crowd that likes to watch things faster. I'm guilty. I watch everything at like 1.25. So it's really easy on the app. The other thing too, you can play it like it's a podcast. So let's say that you're driving, you literally go in the app, hit play, you have it connected to your car, however you do it, and you don't need to look at the video, but it plays like a podcast. So I always recommend the app. Hands down, I think the app is the way to go. There's nothing wrong with the desktop version. It's just, to me, I like things to be signed in once. We use Kajabi, which is a website that many, like millions of program creators use. And I just don't want to have to keep logging into a website. I just like to be signed in once. I think I once a year sign into it. So the only reason I sign in and out of Kajabi is if I buy a new program and it doesn't automatically come in, then the answer is always log out and log back in. But other than that, I'm on the app all the time. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions that I missed here. Yeah, we talked about the printed workbook. So I'm looking at the date what date did we put here? I said by March 14th. So you have to have signed up for the program by March 14th for us to be able to send it to you. Because again, even when we do the quickest shipping in the world, it still can take about 2 weeks. And this time more than ever, I want you to have it in your hand. Again, you don't have to use it if you don't want, but I just find that before, I don't think we were using it as religiously, but this time we're really like, I have the calls written out on the calendar. We have literally weekly, we're gonna do that brain dump. There's the vertical lay for each day. We're really gonna use it a lot more this year. What does everyone do between sessions? So usually it's people checking in daily on WhatsApp. and then you working on the things that you're working toward. But usually it's a lot of participation in the WhatsApp group. Yeah. So again, this is a program for you if you like that. If you like community and you want to participate, you don't have to if you don't want to. But the point is that it's not really a good program if you're annoyed by people talking or you're annoyed by a community aspect, then it's not a good program. Because I know there are some where I've been in programs before where it's webinar style like this, and you don't know who's on the call, and it's just very sterile. Probably a few people are getting coached each time. And I really like pretty much everyone that's on the call, we will talk to them. And again, sometimes people will have different things going on. They can't come on. That's fine. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of community. Do you do coaching? Yeah. So that's on, again, it might be some on the Sunday call, but the Thursday night call is really when, again, when I'm talking to people, the coaching is really me asking questions and like figuring out why things are happening for people. So yeah, I'm the one that does it. It is not, I want to clarify again, because I know a lot of you have done other coaching programs. It's not this, and then you're a hot seat and you come up for 30 minutes and we're talking to you. It's much more organic because when you're working through these things, I just don't want there to be so much pressure in this group, if that makes sense. So I'll say this, pretty much every call, those Thursday night calls, everyone's checking in. So everyone's saying what's working, what's not. And I think that it helps you to get into a zone where weekly you're checking in with yourself. What do I want to share? Okay, what has been working? What's not working? What could I get help on? We check in with everyone on those calls. And and the timing of them. So they're both slotted for an hour, but they can usually go to an hour and a half. Again, the Sunday one might stay at an hour, but the Thursday night one, I'm rather sure we can't keep it under an hour, just when everyone's kind of talking and connecting and we're doing coaching. So usually they end up being over an hour. I don't try to go over an hour and a half. I just think it's too long then, but they're definitely a little bit over an hour. The Thursday night calls, you do not need to attend the whole thing. No explanation needed. Again, you come to what you can. If you have to leave early, that's fine. But again, there's usually just a lot to talk about on these calls. There's always a lot happening. These are really good questions. Any other questions? Yeah, community also helps me with accountability, especially because I live in a rural small town. Yes. Yes. I mean, you live in a small town. I don't know if it's considered small town or not, Indianapolis, but I will tell you why community is so life-changing to me in these groups. Because the people around me in direct proximity are not doing the same things as me. They don't understand how hard it is to work on these things, right? Like, you know how it's like there's like that saying, like you can't get everything from your one best friend, right? Or your significant other. Like they do a lot for you, but they're not everything. And I find that what's really nice about these groups, it's just normalized that we're working on our health or really finding ways to make it work instead of making excuses, right? That's actually like one of the weeks is how can we get past excuses, right? Kind of like hack our brain a little bit. And being in a community where everyone's like-minded, gosh, it's dynamite because you're just like, yes, I can do this. Because imagine I always say there's no going dark. And then we just didn't hear from her for 3 weeks. Like, as long as you're willing to come to a call, you're going to be involved. I think that's a really nice thing too, is to just constantly be taken in a good direction with the current, right? Like, at least that's always what I've wanted. And also, I'll say this, not everybody's on a medication, okay? First of all, no one ever needs to disclose that, but a high percentage are, and it's normalized. And so that's another thing too, is I experienced in other communities before that you were kind of like shunned if you needed metabolic help. And I can't stand that. So obviously I think you all know me at this point. You know my advocacy and how much I think this is just insane, how much we get judged. But I like that too, that this is not a thing. Like, I don't care if you're on a medication or not, but we're not going to have to say this in some little mumbling way where it's like we have to like apologize for it. Like, absolutely not. Right. So that's another thing. Okay. All right, I'm trying to see. I think we went through a majority of stuff. Let me just look through this page and see if there's anything else here. So another one of the bonus calls that we have, I'm really excited about this. We're having Dr. Ali Novitsky come in again. So she does just Q&A calls with us, and everybody has questions about like different exercise scenarios, or sometimes there's some really niche nutrition stuff or different stuff. She is so incredible with that. So she'll be coming in, what date is that here? The 16th of April. So that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna hang on here for one more minute if any of you have any other questions. Otherwise, if you're already in 30/30, I know some of you that are on here are already in there. I'm so excited to either be working with you for the first time or if you've worked with me before. By the way, that's a really nice thing. The fact that people actually that have done my programs in the past keep signing up, but they really like the community, right? And so I think that's a good thing, right? That you're not like everyone does it once and never comes back. And by the way, it's interesting because people have asked in previous rounds, well, if I've done it before, they're wondering like every time is there new content? Absolutely not. But what's interesting is you get different stuff out of it. When you either watch the same video or you obviously the calls are all different, right? The live ones, but you just, when you come back to stuff, sometimes you need some repetition. You need to go at that. You need to sort of, I always stress when you come into this program, starting with a beginner's mindset, like we need to throw away this concept that I know everything. And I know none of you guys have that. Like I'm not attracting those people, but just this like coming in and being like, I'm just going to see what pops out in these 2 months, right? Because I have to tell you what's really cool is everyone always has like a different learning in it. We had one in this previous round where I'm trying to think, I want to keep this as anonymous as possible. But the point is, this person went from a first round of not believing it was possible to in this past round just being so solid that it was radical. I was just blown away how much, like how far this person had come. And they noticed it in themselves, right? It's really interesting how every person's going to get something different out of it. And I think that's actually really great, right? Okay. All right. I'm going to end it here. If you have questions, always feel free to email me. Again, if you're wanting to join this round, I would say do it before March 14th. Not that you can't do it after. Well, as long as we don't fill up, right? Because we do limit spots. But just because we need enough time to get that to you. I felt really bad. There was the Canadian Postal Service, the strikes, right? Like during this last time. So some people didn't get it until a few weeks in, and I just felt so horrible about that. Like we had no control over it. We literally couldn't get it to them in like any capacity. But I just want to make sure that's why we're not enrolling like a day before the program. Okay. All right. If you guys have questions, let me know. Thank you for coming on here tonight. I'm so glad we got to connect. And if you think of anything else, let me know. But otherwise, I hope you have an amazing, rest of Thursday and the weekend. Like time really flies. Okay. All right. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye. That marks the end of today's episode. But if you're newer to the podcast, I want to tell you about something that we have, and it's a free podcast roadmap. So this is perfect for any of you that are listening where you want to be directed to very specific episodes. So let's say that you are just starting out and you want to know, what should I do right when I start on the medications? Or you're experiencing certain side effects on the GLP-1s, or you want to know what to do if you're in a plateau, or if emotional eating is taking over, or if hunger levels are high. So we have many different categories of episodes that we've talked about, because there's a lot at this point. So if you want to be able to navigate that very easily, we have it broken down by category and also the episodes that are there, and we hyperlink to everything. So you can just click on it and find the episode. Easy peasy. If you want that, you can go to renteaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. We'll have it linked right here underneath the show notes where you're listening. And you can go ahead and get that free resource so that it makes it easy for you to navigate, because I know that it's really hard when someone has an established podcast. I am such a podcast fiend, listening to podcasts all day long. And when I find one that I love, but there's a lot that are out there, I am so lost. So I hope that you enjoy this free podcast roadmap. Again, the link to get to that is going to be renteaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.